Indiana's abortion law was in consideration, IU Health has been creating a plan for their facilities.
IU Health officials have created a 24/7 response line for medical providers to contact in case of legal questions. Their main goal is to make sure providers are functioning within the law.
So there certainly can be gray areas, and again, that's where the rapid response team can be helpful.
IU Health is the only school of medicine within the state, and they are turning to out-of-state training for OBGYN residents to learn abortion procedures.
Highest priority for us is to provide services to our patients to preserve the patient-physician relationship within the boundaries of the newly established law.
IU Health hospitals will continue to perform legal abortions in cases of rape or incest, or to protect the life and physical health of the mother.
The First Amendment protects freedom of religion, but some say Senate Bill 1 has sparked the question whether that right is being violated or not.
The conversation of religious freedom in relation to the Indiana abortion law is a new topic. While many religious organizations may endorse the abortion ban, some religious communities say they are at stake of losing the right to follow their beliefs. The ACLU of Indiana announced on September 8th that they are filing a class action lawsuit to stop the bill on the grounds that it violates Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act. RFRA, known as Senate Bill 101, prohibits governmental entities from substantially burdening a person's exercise of religion. A judge will hear those arguments next week. Ball State media law professor Natalie Seeley explains the history of religion in relation to the law in recent debate over Senate Bill 1.
It doesn't seem superficially that our First Amendment rights have anything to do with the abortion debate. But I think it's sort of a novel approach to the abortion ban debate to bring in our other fundamental rights granted in the First Amendment, like religion.
One section of Senate Bill 1 reads, "Human physical life begins when a human ovum is fertilized by a human sperm." While the belief that human life begins at conception is practiced in many religions, not all religious communities or people share the same ideologies.
In the judicial opinion, there was not anything explicit mentioned about the Bible or religion specifically, but there certainly was sort of a religious narrative that was sort of a religious thread flowing through that judicial opinion, which basically states that life begins at fertilization, right? And that we don't have a constitutionally protected right to abortion. But really, there is no, there's really no objective determination of when life begins. And of course, the scientific community and religious communities are sort of at odds about that question.
Crew Club member Melina McClure participates in the Interdenominational Religious Club at Ball State and shared how her thoughts differ from her religious communities.
If I were to get pregnant, I feel like as an 18-year-old, I would not be supported in my community.
Despite being raised Lutheran, McClure says her feelings on the Indiana abortion ban are not swayed by religion.
We're a free country. It shouldn't matter what your religion beliefs are because our country is not based on religion.
Seeley says one misconception is that all religious people support the bill.
Religious groups, particularly some more liberal Jewish religious groups and Universalist, Unitarian groups, are actually speaking out against the abortion bans because they argue that these bans actually interfere with the rights of those whose faith allows them to have abortion, which is, I think, a newish debate that's been happening over the past few years.
She says another fear is that other First Amendment rights could be affected by the bill.
So I think there is a fear that this decision to overturn Roe, while on its surface doesn't seem to be interfering with our First Amendment rights, there's a fear that it could spill over into that, those constitutionally protected rights that we have granted by the First Amendment.
A First Amendment right that may come into question is freedom of speech. Will media outlets be limited in their talk about abortion? Seeley also mentioned other possible future concerns and debates as the result of Dobbs v. Jackson decision. Her examples include that it may become harder to access or publish information about safe abortions and whether rights related to same-sex marriage will be affected.
A local tattoo parlor decided to relocate their business this summer. Today, they celebrated their new building with an open house to welcome the community. Black Sword Alliance has been in the tattoo and piercing business for nearly 7 years. With their new spot, the owners are excited to make some new art and some memories.
We just wanted to say thanks to everybody and show off the place. We worked hard to get all the art hung up and everything looking as nice as we can. We got a bunch of free shirts and koozies, and just wanted to say thanks for supporting us all these years and enabling us to make the move over here.
Their new location can be found at 1401 North Wheeling Avenue. And I don't know about you, but this weather has been kind of funky.
It was kind of a trick on us beginning of the week. It was pretty chilly, but then we got to the end and it was a little hot. So let's go ahead and send it over to Ryan Crump. Ryan, is the warm-up going to continue?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we might see some much warmer temperatures next week. But waking up this morning, I noticed you all might have seen some fog in the area. I know coming into Muncie this morning, I seen that was quite a bit of fog, especially going through the Anderson area, pardon me. We had that issue, so just be careful when you go out this morning. You see here, they see some pretty dense fog over here, so just leave yourself some extra time going out this morning. Temperatures right now, you're seeing that it's about 62 degrees, the warm spot in Indianapolis, and cool spot is Fort Wayne at 55 degrees to 57 degrees in Muncie at this hour. The radar looks pretty good out there. We don't have anything that's going to be a threat to us. It should remain like that as we go throughout the day, and for the next 12 hours, you're going to see temperatures are going to warm up nicely as we go through the 80s. We're going to be up to like about 83, 84 degrees as we go through this morning. We have more on that warm up this weekend coming up. Back to you guys at the desk.
Ryan, thank you so much. In just ahead, find out how new research on extreme weather is affecting you.
And that's after your weather now.
Welcome back, 8:08 on your Friday morning, and a new study finds extreme weather events are behind a spike in power outages for over 2 decades. The analysis was by Climate Central, a nonprofit research group. This rise comes as extreme weather gets worse among the rise in global temperatures, the demand for electricity climbs, and the country's energy infrastructure gets older and more vulnerable. The analysis found from 2000 to 2021, 83% of all reported power outages were caused by weather-related events. They range from drought-fueled wildfires and damaging storms, many of which will only get worse as the climate warms.
Tropical storm Fiona has formed in the Atlantic and is now targeting parts of the Caribbean. Fiona is the sixth named storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. According to the National Hurricane Center, the storm was about 625 miles east of Leeward Islands. As it is strengthened from a tropical depression Wednesday, winds from Fiona are hitting about 50 miles per hour, even with higher gusts. Tropical storms watches are now in place for the number of islands, including Saint Martin, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, Nevis, and Anguilla.
And it's kind of crazy. It's not a hurricane just yet, but of course it's going to be affecting us in some way when it gets closer to the shore.
We haven't had one in a long time.
I know.
It's been like
it's
a
been
year.
a very quiet season so far.
It has been a very quiet season. We saw that there's only 6 named storms this season, 3 of those being tropical storms there. So we haven't seen a hurricane yet. However, we are watching Fiona very, very closely, as I can show you here in a second. Popping over to national here. As we see, I've zoomed in here on Fiona for everybody so we can actually take a look at this storm. The interesting thing about Fiona is it has a lot of problems if it does want to build up. Oh, look at that, I'm covering it. There we go, that's better. If it does want to build up to be an actual hurricane. One cool thing about it is the center of low is actually out here. It's not, this is all convection. So this is all going to be rain, wind, clouds. So that's where the bulk of the storm. The low is right here, so there's no real eye with this storm yet, and that's due to upper air winds that is pushing all those clouds and rain out of the way. Now, we will be seeing, as this progresses through the weekend, that upper air shear and wind will be dissipating a little bit. So hopefully we don't want this. It would be terrible for this thing to intensify because, you know, impacts, it's not great. But if it does intensify, it will happen early next week. So we will be definitely keeping an eye out for that. Now going for some national current temperatures right now. We're going to be 57 in Muncie, like Brian was saying, 65 out in LA. Look at Las Vegas over there at 73. Wouldn't that be nice? Looking at today's highs now, we're going to be in the upper 80s in the Midwest of the country. Look at Minneapolis and Kansas City there in the high to mid 80s. There's same in Cincinnati. And Vegas sitting at 91 degrees, very warm as well. Now there will be a bit of a cool down as well for tomorrow. As you can see, Minneapolis is going to cool down a little bit to 78 degrees. There's a cold front moving through there, so that's why those temperatures will be dropping a little bit there. Watches and warnings right now, it's pretty quiet across the country. However, we do have some air quality alerts over here in Oregon there, and up here in Idaho, and that's due to the mosquito fires that are happening out in California right now. All that smoke is going up. Actually, we did here in Indiana, we saw some of that smoke move over. That's why the sky's been a little milky the last couple days, is some of the smoke from that fire. And then moving on to our precision cast onto our national satellite here. So we can see all is pretty quiet for now. We are going to be seeing some clouds and some precipitation move into the Midwest here. So we can see there's also a little bit of some showers happening out in Wyoming. But overall, today's looking like a pretty quiet day, and hopefully we can have a decent weekend as well.
And is this at all going to affect temperatures or any other weather when it comes to in the country?
So what I'm thinking is probably not, because right now the Storm Prediction Center is having Fiona kind of dive off a little bit. So, and also it's way early to kind of tell, because we're about 3 days out and the two models are way off. So we got to wait for those to sync up, and once those sync up, we can have a better idea of where the storm is actually going to be going.
Awesome, Jack. Thank you so much. And a U.S. government is updating its latest strategy to fight COVID-19. The White House announced a plan yesterday called the Global COVID Response 2.0. One official familiar with the initiative says the strategy is geared to end the global emergency and protect health systems around the world. The plan's objectives include vaccinating people with the highest risk and who are the hardest to reach to prepare for future variants and health threats. The official said the White House is requesting $4 billion to implement the strategy, and the announcement was timed to coincide with UN General Assembly meetings so world leaders could discuss and coordinate the plan.
And as Queen Elizabeth II's funeral is set to take place on Monday, ceremonial preparations have been underway throughout the week. The Queen's coffin made its final journey to Westminster Hall Wednesday, where the late Queen will lie in state until the funeral. Crowds stretched for miles around London throughout the week, some people sleeping on the streets overnight just to ensure they could say a final farewell to the Queen, who served people for more than 70 years.
Part of history. We're never going to have this again, and she's just been such a rock and an inspiration to everybody across the whole world, and for me to be able to do this for myself and for her, there's no words that can explain it.
About 500 heads of state, royals, and other politicians are expected to attend the funeral, including President Joe Biden and the First Lady. There are no plans for any former U.S. president to attend. After the break, we see what events are happening on campus for Family Weekend.
That's after a message from MITS.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
Welcome back. The current time is 8:15 and you're looking at life outside at the Muncie area.
And a little over a year ago, a local Muncie organization formed to make change in the community. Pastor Matt Derby from Northside Church of God opened the Love Muncie organization to help those in need. Love Muncie is a faith-based organization that welcomes all people within Delaware County. Pastor Derby says Love Muncie unites other organizations through Ball State and Muncie as well. He says their main goal is to uplift people and give them tools to discover their passions. Last year, Love Muncie hosted 2 concerts and handed out shoes, backpacks, and other clothing items at Delaware County Fairgrounds. Pastor Derby says they hope to make an even bigger impact this year.
Love Muncie is a unity bridge. That's what it is intended to be. It's a place where people of different backgrounds can come together and work for the common good of our community.
Family Weekend starts today, and there are so many events going on for students and their families to attend across campus. I'm so excited for this, but the Student Center will be hosting plenty of events like concerts, a t-shirt sale, and tours of downtown and also our campus. Many schools at Ball State will be showcasing what they have worked on so far and providing concerts at Pruis. The weekend rounds out on Saturday when Ball State plays Murray State at 2 p.m. at Schumann Stadium. The team working to organize Family Weekend says this is a time for students to bring their family into what college life is like.
Kind of reconnect if they hadn't had a chance to move. Maybe this is the first time they've seen their family since they moved in early, mid-August. So it's just a good time for parents and families to get together and have a good time.
If you're planning on coming to the Family Weekend festives, and I'm pretty sure you should be, and aren't sure where to start, we have a full list of events at ballstatedaily.com.
Pretty sure. Sounds like you're excited, so gonna be a big weekend for you. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to do all this stuff, but it's always nice to see campus going around, and definitely one great thing that's gonna happen is they can see all of the Ball State sports that we have, like women's volleyball, and as the women's volleyball team flies to a scorching 8-2 start, 2 graduate students are sharing their unique challenges and moments as the team continues to build a bond with their newest additions.
Ball State Women's Volleyball opening their wings to welcome 2 new Cardinals to the nest. Head coach Kelly Miller-Phillips stating her gratitude for her Cardinals' response to the newest additions in former Jacksonville State Gamecock Addison Halverson and former Arkansas State Red Wolf Juliana Kramer.
Our guys did a great job of accepting them right away. They were able to go to Costa Rica with us in May, and that was kind of our first opportunity. Like the 5 days prior to going there, we got to train together and then spend a couple weeks together in Costa Rica, and they fit in great.
Former Jacksonville State outside hitter Addison Halverson transferring as a redshirt senior to Ball State after 3 years of playing for the Gamecocks. During her time at Jacksonville State, Halverson totaling 522 kills in 219 total sets and contributing on defense with 276 digs. This new addition claims her biggest challenge isn't on the court, but instead her new life outside Worthen Arena.
I don't know my way around campus or like driving anywhere. I always have to ask my roommate like where I'm going. I'm like, so am I turning left here? Am I turning right? I have no idea where I'm going at any point in time.
As Halverson runs around campus looking for her next class, her roommate Juliana Kramer is not only giving her directions, but also going through the madness that is being the other graduate transfer on this star-studded squad. The setter accumulated 1,283 assists and 604 digs in 4 years of play at Arkansas State.
Oh, they were so welcoming, so friendly. They were definitely helpful in that whole challenging aspect of meeting new people. I've met a ton of new people just through them, not only like my teammates being welcoming to me, but they've also introduced me to other people and other athletics.
As Kramer continues to build her athletic resume at Ball State, her competitive past continues to follow her to her new team. She shares her experience of playing against her former team last Friday night.
It was definitely weird, especially because like in the captain's meeting, when I met them and I was just like shaking their hand like, oh, I know you, you don't have to introduce yourself. It was just weird, and especially being on the opposite side of the net and seeing them in the jerseys that I used to be in, it was definitely different.
These veterans will continue contributing at their newfound home throughout the rest of this season. In Muncie, Max Robson, NewsLink, Indiana.
Well, I'm hoping for family weekend we get a little bit better weather than what we have been having because it is a little hot, so you want to make sure that you're being comfortable while you're hanging around for the weekend.
No, yeah, I hope I get to wear my shorts this weekend because this weather, I don't know about it. We'll send it over.
Yeah, you're going to get a chance to wear those shorts this weekend. You're going to get a chance to wear them not just this weekend, but even next week as well. So I hope you all like some summer weather. Yes, fall is coming next week, but it's not going to feel a whole lot like that. Not until probably later on next week. So I'll get to a little bit more on this, next week, later on in the show. But for right now, you're going to see that those temperatures are going to be quite warm. And you're going to see that here. Above average temperatures, especially as we go through next week. We can even see some 90s, yes, 90-degree temperatures next week. And of course, we're going to continue the abundance of sunshine. We do have some rain in the area. We'll get a little bit more on that a little bit later on. The temperatures right now, you're going to see that it's 62 degrees here in Indianapolis, 58 in Muncie, 55 in Kokomo, and also the same thing here in Fort Wayne at this hour. Waking up this morning, you're going to wake up to mostly sunny skies, 63 degrees. So it's going to be our temperature about 9 o'clock. And the clouds are going to kind of move in a little bit as we go throughout the day. We're going to warm up to about 84 degrees, so not a bad day as you're going out today. You know, that's a good short weather, so you know, I know you all going to enjoy that. Here, the temperature is right. I mean, the radar right now is pretty nice. It's going to remain that way. You do see some showers out here, out to your west, but they're not going to be affecting us today. And we're pretty much dominated by this high pressure system, so it's going to be pretty much nice as we go through that weekend. Yes, family weekend for the football game against Murray State should be pretty nice. It's going to remain like that. As you see, as we go through the next 6 to 10 days, we're going to be above average for pretty much most of the country, all the way down here from the southwest, all the way over here through the north, across the country to the northeast. So everybody's going to be pretty much seeing that above average temperatures, except the north, out here in the northwest. That's the only place we're going to be seeing pretty much below average temperatures, at least the probability of below average temperatures. 62 degrees will be our temperature for tonight. Winds coming out of the southeast at 5 miles an hour. You will also see this next 5 days. Yes, 84 degrees, and then we're going to be 87 Sunday and Monday, 85 on Tuesday, 88. All these are well above average for this time of year, which should be about 79 degrees. But we also say something about rain, too, and I know I said something about rain. Yeah, we're going to see that there's none for today or tomorrow, but we do have a slight chance for Sunday night and even early morning hours on Monday as well as we go through it. Then, of course, we're going to dry out again pretty much do most of next week. So, again, we're not worried too much about rain. I've mentioned it because we have been pretty dry as we've been going throughout the course of the week. But we also worry about those temperatures being high. Yes, 6 days away from fall. It's not going to feel a whole lot like that. As a matter of fact, especially with the 90s. September 22nd is going to be where we're going to see the first day of fall coming into our area. And of course, it's not going to feel like that here for Friday. 84 degrees today, 87, 85 on Monday. But look at this, 91 degrees on Wednesday. I might bump this. Don't be surprised that we see a 90-degree temperature on Tuesday as well. Yes, I know Annie was talking to me about this a little bit earlier. You was looking forward to fall and to fall temperatures because I know you all like, let's get fall started. Unfortunately, you're not going to see that. Now, it's a hint next week that we might see some of that coming into the area next week. Later on next week.
I'm ready for the cooler temperatures. Mother Nature's been tricking us, but I guess we can wait it out, Ryan. Thank you so much. And in just a moment, a mother got a roadside surprise on her way to the hospital.
That's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Demi Lovato announced on Instagram that her current tour will be her last. The singer's tour for her 8th studio album began last month in Iowa. She told fans that she plans to finish out the rest of her tour despite posting that she's, quote, so sick, and, quote again, can't get out of bed. The rest of her tour will be throughout the United States. Lovato's past health problems have been very public. A couple in Indiana have quite a story to tell after the father delivered his baby on the side of an interstate.
And you can hear the dramatic scene on the 911 call. Claire Duggan reports.
Evansville 911.
Hi, my wife's in labor. I'm going to need an ambulance.
My contractions were 8 minutes apart, and then 35 minutes later, we had a baby in our hands.
When Emily Waddell realized she might be going into labor, she called her husband home and headed out for the hospital.
And even at that point, whenever I told him to come home, I wasn't even positive that, the baby was coming.
As a mother of 3, it wasn't her first rodeo, but this time would be different.
Whenever we were getting on the interstate, I said out loud, I was like, I do not want to have a baby in the truck. And Stephen was like, don't worry, you're not having a baby in the car.
So we get to the interstate, and we are moving. And that's whenever Emily kind of grabs a hold of my arm, and she was like, you have to pull over now. The baby is coming right now. Okay, we're pulling over. Exit mile marker 12, roughly. Southbound, Isaac Shine. We knew the baby was coming. We knew it was just us there.
Do you have something to catch the baby?
Yeah, my shirt.
Take some deep breaths.
Baby is out.
Well, I bet you didn't expect to do that today.
No.
Well, you guys did a great job.
Stephen, the newborn's father, jumped into action, catching the little girl as she came out and looking to figure out what needed to happen next.
Okay, we need to find something to tie the cord with.
So I found an iPhone charger in my truck and tied the umbilical cord off with that.
As Stephen and Emily waited for help, Emily suctioned out the baby's mouth and nose, then called her sister, a labor and delivery nurse.
My sister was like, wait, are you joking? No, you did not just have a baby on the interstate. We were like, yes, we absolutely did.
Reagan Waddell was born on September 12th, 7 pounds, 10 ounces, at mile marker 12.
You did a good job, you guys. That's going to be a story.
Luckily, between the people on the phone and my sister and just recently having children, we were able to make things go smooth and definitely had some guardian angels looking out for us.
Now, they said it was the coolest thing they'll probably ever do, but they don't want to do it ever again, and I don't think they recommend it either. In partnership with Muncie Animal Care and Services, every other week here on Cardinal Weather, we're highlighting a pet who's looking for their forever home.
For our very first paw of the semester, we get to meet Bambi. She's about 1.5 years old and has been waiting for home for about a year. She is a very smart girl who can sit on command. Bambi will do best in a home by herself. If you're interested in adopting Bambi or any other pet, just head over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.com.
Look at that sweet baby. She is so cute.
And the name.
She is so cute. They're always so cute when we show them. Now, Ryan, let's get one final check of weather to see this warm up that's continuing.
Yes, the warm is going to continue. You're going to see those temperatures soar into the 90s, especially next week. Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a 90 on Tuesday as well. And Thursday, that's where we're going to see the last really warm day. Then after that, we're going to see a cool down coming to the area. So it's going to feel a little more like fall after Thursday. But for right now, you're going to see that it's going to be pretty warm and above average.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much. And that's all for Cardinal Weather for this Friday morning. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.